I love you, Daddy.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Single Father Podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Donaker, aka Father DZ, and today we're doing a video podcast. How exciting is that? And for my audio listeners, please go look at our YouTube page at the Single Father Podcast, and you can now view this podcast video form. And I think this is how we're going to rock and roll for the next foreseeable future. Today we're kicking things off with, again, our series, Why Are We Here? Where each week we'd explore the lessons and kind of just thought process on why we're here, why we're on Earth, and, what's our purpose? You know, I think, we aim to delve into this question. Why are we on Earth? It's a question that has puzzled philosophers, scientists, researchers for centuries. But today, we're going to approach it from a unique perspective, the perspective of single fathers. So I remember when I first became a single father, there were moments where I felt completely lost, questioning my purpose, not just as a parent, but as somebody, but as a person. I found myself wondering more and more why I was here. These questions led me down a path of self-discovery and almost a little bliss that I want to share with you guys more and more. And again, to anyone who's been listening to the earlier podcast, it's really why I took a little bit of a break from the podcast. I was having this existential crisis about why I'm here, what's the purpose, what's my meaning, and I discovered a lot during that time and some things that I'm still exploring. And I decided to do this series to kind of explore more of that idea and share and kind of get new people's perspectives on this topic as well. So let's take a moment and explore various viewpoints from on this topic. From religious beliefs that suggest a divine purpose to scientific theories or about human experience, and I think each perspective offers a different lens on which we can examine our lives. For example, some spiritual traditions teach that we're here to learn and grow as souls, while certain scientific perspectives might focus on our evolutionary purpose. And I want to involve you guys now, our listeners. Think about your own experience, and experiences. Have you ever questioned why you were here? What conclusions have you come to? Feel free to share your thoughts with us on our social media pages at the Single Father Podcast, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Your voice matters, and we'd love to hear from you. And from anyone who wants to become more involved in this podcast, please join our Patreon. Our Patreon. It will be in the description of this podcast. I have some really great ideas and fun things for all of my patrons. Some exclusive podcasts, some fun sharing sessions where we kind of chat with each other and share ideas and share advice with one another. And also, if you become one of our top tier patrons, you can become a guest in the podcast. I will gladly have you on a guest, and we'll share experiences as fathers or just parents together, right? I think during my journey, though, I turned to both these various viewpoints. I found comfort in the idea that my struggles and triumphs could be a part of a larger, meaningful journey. I think one evening, after a particularly challenging day with my daughter, I think in one of the earlier podcasts, I explained I looked up at the stars and I found a really profound sense of connection to something greater. It was just a small moment, but it really helped me shape my understanding of why I'm here. I think during that time, it was something where I felt connected to something greater. It was more of just a purpose than just being a father. It was an idea that I had. There's more to this. Not just being a father, but life. There's more that I'm connected to. There's more that I'm meant to do. And I think we often can get that, right? I was just speaking to someone today where they told me, man, there has to be more to this. And what they meant was, I'm going to work, I'm going to a 9 to 5. I'm, I'm, it kind of feels repetitive in a way. I'm waking up, making breakfast, going to work. After work, it takes 30 minutes to get home. Then you go home, you do kind of settling down a little bit. Then you do your daily tasks. And then before you know it, the only free time that you have is right when it's time to go to bed. And you can choose to stay up all night and fuck up your next morning, or you can choose to go to sleep and rinse and repeat all over again. And on the weekends is really the time that you have to get shit done. So you're thinking, should I go out? Should I do this or that? Or maybe should I stay in and get my responsibilities done? And depending on how your life is, whether it's busier or easier, I mean, we all kind of experience that same thing, right? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's boring in a way, these daily tasks to kind of advance our life and to do things that we might not really want to do. It's almost boring. It's repetitive. It's the same thing over and over again. And you kind of just after a while just have to say, why am I here? What is the meaning to this life? Not saying that you want it to end, but you're saying that I think there is something more than just doing the same thing over and over again. That is insanity. That is not why I'm here. There is more. And once you realize that, I think you can open an idea in your head. An idea is a very powerful thing. An idea can lead you to various different paths, more profound than you could ever imagine. An idea is what started Facebook. An idea is what started Tesla. An idea is what started Amazon. An idea is how people become rich, happier, successful, more fulfilled in life. An idea. Coming up with an idea. Now that's something. That's something that's worth putting purpose behind. That is something worth living for. That's something that you could grab onto and say, I am here for this idea. Then what is that idea for you? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you're still searching. Maybe you're still hoping to find some meaning behind it. Maybe you're still trying hard to gain that purpose, to gain the inspiration for that idea. Maybe you can't break free from the 9 to 5 yet, but you do have an idea on how to break free from it. Maybe it's a business that you have an idea for, and you unfortunately have to keep on doing the rinse and repeat to support that business. And by the way, there is nothing wrong with just finding purpose within our children. If that's why you're here, if you feel like I am just laying up here to be a parent and there's nothing more to it than that, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're feeling fulfilled within that. That is an idea that is beautiful and profound. But I will say that an idea is a powerful thing and we must be open to that. We must be at least open to the idea of something more, something greater, something beyond ourselves. An idea. I had an idea once in my head. I had an idea a long time ago. I had just become baptized and I was on a kind of a better path for myself, but I didn't really know what my purpose was on earth. I felt everything else has failed. So what my idea was, I'm going to go with God. And maybe God will bring me the answer. And that idea, I think, in a lot of ways saved my life. Some ways I'll tell you at a later time, but I think it really did save me. That idea, that thought in my head brought me towards greater bliss, greater joy than I could have ever imagined. To trust in something greater than myself. To know that I'm a part of something greater than just myself. That there is something greater than myself. That maybe I don't have an idea for me, but someone up there has an idea to heal me. That idea was profound. And then I had an idea to start a podcast. This podcast is a lot of work for me. I find enjoyment in it, but I also find a lot of tedious tasks within it as well. But one of the reasons I do it is because I have people like you guys, people who care, people who are, are involved, who share in similar experiences as me. And I want to build a community. I want people to know that you're not alone. I want people to know that there is something or someone out there that shares your pain, your love, your viewpoints. That you're not alone on this earth. And that idea of knowing that you're not alone, that itself could save you. And I know I've been speaking religiously, but religious beliefs can offer some profound insights into our existence. Many faiths propose that life is a journey with a divine purpose. For instance, like Christianity teaches that humans are here to fulfill God's plan, to seeking love and to serve others as Jesus did. Buddhism, on the other hand, views life as an opportunity to learn, progress, and spirituality aiming for enlightenment. In contrast, scientific theories provide a different context. Evolutionary biology suggests that our purpose is encoded in our DNA to survive, to reproduce, to pass on our genes on the next generation. This biological imperative, it shapes much of our behavior, from our drive to succeed in our careers to our instincts as parents. There's a lot of existential perspectives there, which I feel that life has no inherent meaning other than, I guess, what we as individuals give to it. This view, popularity, it's popular by philosophers, that our purpose is what we bring to it. You know what I mean? Jean-Paul Sartre, I think his name is. They argue that it is up to each person to find or create their own purpose in seemingly indifferent universe. So in this indifferent universe, it's up to each and every one of us to find and create our own purpose, if that makes sense. We all can have different viewpoints. We all can have different lives, different perspectives, different experiences, but it's each and every one of us responsibility to find and create our purpose within this universe. I think that's incredibly profound. I mean, and to speak scientifically again, let's take dive a little deeper into the scientific existence. The Big Bang Theory suggests that the universe began as an infinitely small, hot, and dense point, which expanded over billions of years to form galaxies, stars, and planets on a cosmic scale, right? Earth is just a tiny speck, yet it's the cradle of all known life. From a purely biological standpoint, humans evolved to adapt to their environment. Our intelligence, our social structures, and cultures have enabled us to thrive. But this raises another question. Does our advanced cognition imply a greater purpose, or is it merely a byproduct of evolution? And that's kind of the theory on whether there's a God or not. All of these little instances in this universe, is it from a divine being who created all of these little tiny um, irregularities to be? Everything that could happen did happen to create life. Does that mean God, or does that mean it's it's a part of the universe? The universe created all this. It just happened. It is what it is. We are what we are. It be what it be. What is our purpose? Maybe it's something that we create, in all little decisions that we make add to our existence, add to our purpose. You know what I mean? Is it free will, or is it what we make of it? And the generic research is fascinating in this context. Scientists have discovered that certain genes can influence behaviors that might have once contributed to our ancestors' survival. You know what I mean? Traits like altruism, for example, can be seen as an advantageous for survival of a community. These discoveries offer a glimpse into the intricate dance between our biology and our perceived purpose. Philosophically speaking, the search for meaning has been a central theme in human thought. For example, I think we emphasize individual freedom and responsibility. And according to, different people, existence precedes essence, meaning that we are not born with a predetermined purpose. Instead, we must create our own meaning through our choices and our actions. And on the flip side, there are deterministic philosophies and that argue our lives are shaped by forces beyond our control, by the divine plans, the laws of physics, our generic or genetic programming. This raises intriguing debates about free will and destiny. And beyond that, there are also like holistic philosophies, like those in Eastern traditions. For instance, they teach that harmony with the natural world and fulfilling one's role in society can bring about a meaningful life. These traditions encourage us to look beyond individualism and consider our place within the broader community and universe. At this point, I encourage you to pause and to reflect and to think about different viewpoints we discussed. Religious, scientific, existential, and philosophical. How do these perspectives resonate with your personal experience? As single fathers, our quest for meaning often revolves around our children. And our role in their lives is so important. Many of us find purpose in nurturing, protecting, guiding our kids. This can be incredibly fulfilling, but also incredibly challenging. It's essential to recognize that our journey is unique, yet we share common threads with the others. So please take a moment to share your thoughts and experiences with our community. You can do this by posting on our social media pages, or joining our Patreon. Like I said, engaging with others who are on a similar path can provide support, encouragement, and new insights. And when you join our Patreon, you also have access to our exclusive Facebook group, where you can have a community where you're involving and engaging with each other there. And I think that's important, to have people who have your back. I'd like to share a few stories from a fellow single fathers who have questioned their purpose and found meaningful answers. One listener, his name's Mark, shout out to Mark, wrote to us about his experience. After his divorce, Mark struggled with his feelings of feeling inadequate and lost, just loss of self, really. He found a lot of comfort in volunteering and at his local community center, where he mentored young boys, and through this service, Mark discovered a renewed sense of purpose and found his way to give back. He often was like a father figure to these people who had no one to look up to. He shared about his experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, and he became a leader within that community and eventually took over as chair of this community center, where his main goal was to make sure that no young man, woman, girl, boy, or otherwise felt alone, scared, and unheard. Mark, through his pain, found a profound sense to give and bring people together. And I thought that was amazing. Another listener, Jamal, shared how he turned to his culture, his heritage, for others.
I found some web for how. Check it out.
Sorry, I got Alexa in the background. She is so sensitive, isn't she? One of the most sensitive women in my life, besides my daughter. Anyways, another listener, Jamal, shared how he turned to his culture, his heritage, for answers. By embracing his roots and learning about his ancestors, his struggles and triumphs, Jamal found strength and a sense of continuity. Continuity. He now teaches his children about their heritage, instilling in them a sense of pride and identity. Jamal was someone who grew up with a white father and a black mother, much like myself, actually. He felt that when he watched the show This Is Us, it was a direct reflection of how he was raised. He felt like he was a mixture between two cultures. He felt that he grew up bullied, embarrassed, and often confused about who he was and his identity. He felt that, no fault to his parents' own, he didn't really learn about the black culture and how that might affect who he was or the people around him and their viewpoints. And when he learned about his heritage, black, white, he found a new sense of purpose within himself. He felt like he knew why he was here. Now, he taught these things to his children. He taught them about being accepting and accepting other people's heritage and cultures. He taught them that just because someone is different than you doesn't mean that you have to point out their differential views or looks. It means that you can learn more about the things that are different. And there's a lot to learn about things that you don't understand. That's a really powerful story, Jamal. I love that one. These stories remind us that our search for meaning is deeply personal, but it's also shared. By opening up about our experiences, we can inspire and support one another in this journey. Understanding why we are here is a deeply personal journey, but it's also a universal one. Whether through spiritual beliefs, scientific inquiries, or personal experiences, finding our purpose can add a rich layer of meaning to our lives as single fathers. Remember that you are not alone in this quest. We are all exploring, learning, growing together. If today's discussion resonated with you, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on your own journey. Maybe write down your thoughts, talk to a friend, or engage in our online community. Don't forget to subscribe, rate the podcast. It really helps. Leave a review if you find our discussions interesting to you. And be sure to like and follow our social media pages at the Single Father Podcast, pretty much all across the board. I would really appreciate it if you join our Patreon page and keep supporting the podcast so we can do bigger, better, and greater things for you. Also, just a little plug, I wrote a book. It's called My Father's Journal. It's about a young woman who's discovering her identity through the pages left on a journal that she found left behind by her father who has recently passed. Within these pages, she discovers a hope that he might still be alive, interestingly enough. And within that hope, she discovers a corruption of deceit and lies that enriched her father's life and surrounding him. She set off on a journey to fulfill his legacy and find her father wherever that might lead. And it's a beautiful book. If I do say so myself, I wrote it. It's my only book I'll ever write because it was a challenging thing, but I'm proud of it. And you guys can find it on Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, or Amazon Prime. So please support it if you can. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the Single Father Podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Donaker, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you. I'm happy that I get to have a place where I can vent and just share what's on my mind and discuss why we are here. So let's continue to discuss this. One story, one step, one journey at a time.